Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we are getting into a comparison video between the BIBURY Multitool Plier 20-in-1 versus the BIBURY Pro Multitools Plier 31-in-1. So I was just going to pretty much do a comparison between these two, their respective bit driver setups, but I'm going to also throw in the Fleesa just in the background for good measure and for comparison, though this is not really about a comparison between this one because I've done a review on that when I compared it to this one. I could do a video comparing that one to that one, but for the most part, we're just going to really kind of compare them all together, even though the primary focus is these two. Why? Because it's two of BIBURY's entries and really kind of understanding should you go for the pro versus the non-pro. And I guess in addition to that, you could say, well, would you consider the non-pro versus the Fleesa? So we're just going to really jump into it. I'm going to try to breeze through this very quickly because I've done reviews on all of these before, and so I don't want to make everything really long. So just going to rush through and get everything out real quick. Table. One thing I will say is that the case for the Fleesa is the best. It's the most similar to Leatherman, where you've got this stretchy material on the side. And it feels like it's built very well. The other ones are built very well. They just don't have that stretch on the side. So it doesn't have that same level of give when you're putting it in. So the non-pro BIBURY is the only one that comes with a pocket clip already included. Now, if you look at it in that regard, to that respect, for the most part, I'm just going to go off the top of my head with the prices that I've last seen. This would go for roughly, I believe, $29.99. Though I think you always have a coupon that's often available. This is also $29.99, and this is $37.99, about $8 more expensive. Now, with that being said, the pocket clip, if I don't know what a pocket clip would cost separately, but let's just say hypothetically, I know on Leatherman it's more expensive. On these, we can't really give it that same measure. But let's just say the pocket clip is the equivalent of $2. Then in that case, you're getting additional $2 value on this for free. Whereas obviously, if you wanted to add that to one of these other tools, it might cost you $2 or more. But we're just going to say $2. So I'm not going to overvalue the pocket clip. So one of the main things that differentiate all three of these, to be honest with you, is the fact that the tool set on this is very similar to like a Leatherman Surge. The tool set on this is very similar to the Leatherman Wave. And this seems to be a combination of both. And I think that's where this one kind of really shines. Now, they all have a screwdriver bit set, so I'm not really going to get into that. They're all pretty much the same. I'm not really going to get into that aspect of it. Right now I have this one is actually missing for the moment, but I got to locate it. So, but they're all pretty much the same in that aspect for those. So I'm not going to get heavy into that. They all share that same aspect of their tool set. But now jumping into the aspects of them that really differ. So this one has the large scissor set, which is something that I really love when it comes to this one. This one actually carries that over to have the large scissor set as well, which to me is like a super big plus on this one. And so that's a very big standout feature in my mind, because the bigger ones normally have the bigger scissors like that, which is what I liked about this one. The fact that you have one now that's comparable in size to the Fleesa. Obviously, you can see that's bigger, but these two are equal in size. This one doesn't have scissors. Instead, in that same location for where the scissor would be, you have a file, actually. That's this one here. You have the file. Now, this one is not going to give you a decent file. To be honest with you, this one has the replaceable file, and it has the big scissors, and it has a saw because the file can be replaced by the saw. So these two have to sacrifice, where this one doesn't have to, because it allows you to replace it with the the removable saw blades or swappable saw blades. So if you're buying this and you need a saw, this is not really going to give you a great option in that regard. The only option it has for the saw is, I'm sorry, not the saw. I'm sorry. I meant the file. I'm sorry about that. The file is that. That's as good as you're getting with a file. It does have these tools here, plus your conventional bottle opener, flathead screwdriver, the smaller flathead screwdrivers at the tip of the file, the awl, and then you have the glasses or smaller screwdriver bit, which actually that's double-sided for a Phillips and a flathead. Now this one for the Fleesa, and I have trouble getting these tools out. I've mentioned before that I don't have nails, so it gets hard for me to get these tools out. That's one plus that I like about the BIBURY, the non-pro. I like the fact that even though it's smaller than the pro, which is easy to get out the tools because it's bigger and it also has no retention in pulling the tools out, or very little, I can still get them out on this one. I have a lot of trouble on the Fleesa, and that's just something I'm really not a fan of. So here you can see you got the small screwdriver bit, the one that's in there right now, and I'm gonna have trouble getting out, so I'm not gonna bother. It's just your basic can opener. But you could see here, push that back because of the focusing, that you got the small head screwdriver. You can see this one, and it's reversible. So this one really gives you the equivalent of how the Leatherman has theirs. This doesn't have an awl in it. This one does, because this one has to fit the scissors. And that's pretty much the replacement tool. This one gives you the awl. The non-pro BIBURY gives you the awl, and this has scissors in the Fleesa. But because this one gives you its big scissors on the outside. Now, like I said, I'm more of a fan of the big scissors. If I compare the BIBURY non-pro and the Fleesa, I actually, though I'm happy with the quality control of all of them. The word I'm looking for, with the quality of the build, not the sturdiness of it, but I can't think of the word. I'm having a brain fart with the word I'm looking for, but that the retention of the whole thing, and the way it feels and the structure is nice. So don't think I'm taking anything away from the quality of it, but nonetheless, between me having trouble getting these tools out, which is not any fault of the Fleesa, it's the fact that I got no nails, and the fact that this one gives me the tool set I prefer, which is the larger scissors, the main difference that it has, because every other tool on the outside is for the most part going to be same. Let me see, make sure we're on the same side. That's the saw on this one. You got the saw on that one. You got the serrated, though the serrated are slightly different. This one's more your conventional, which is also on the Pro. And that makes it better for focusing. And this one is a little bit different. But with that being said, this side you have your basic regular knife, and they're both the same. And this thing gives you that combination of steel look and the like black coating. I don't know if that's PVC, but so you can see these knives look the exact same. Once again, you get that clip. The little screw pieces on here, though, here were different. I pointed that out in the review of this. I don't know why they did that. Was it needed for this design? I'm not sure, but you have that. And then here with the Pro, like I said, the tools, you have your serrated, your regular flat blade, you have the big scissors, and then you have your file, which could be your saw. Now the tools it has on the inside, and once again, I'm a fan of the fact that these pull out so easy, and that's the one difference between both of these tools versus this one. This one has this very easy it has a spring to it, so you don't have to worry about these falling out because it's got a spring, where these use retention. This uses spring. So the spring, you could see, goes right back. That's what makes it really cool. And I think that's just a really nice feature of this one, that you're not going to find the smaller one. So that is what brings it back in place. So it can be a little more loose and easy to pull out. And once you pull it out, once it's locked, it now has its retention because it's locked. And I got a little bit of wobble there, which I've never seen before. So, but nonetheless, it's not going to fall out because it's still springs. You don't have to worry about that. But now just into getting into this one's tool set here, you have 4, which if I'm not mistaken, the other ones have the same amount, but obviously it's just a different setup. And you're not going to have the tiny screwdriver on here, but you do have 2 flatheads. But the bit driver on this one is a double-headed Phillips, so that's why. And otherwise, you'd have to replace it with its bit kit to have a double-sided flathead. You don't have the flathead and Phillips the way this one would have and the Fleecer would have. So that's why having 2 of these is not necessarily a negative in this case, though it may cause you to not want to use the flathead bit driver at all because you already got these 2 on here. With that being said, the tool set here, obviously the Pro is going to be the most diverse, but the new tool on the block, the non-Pro, I actually really like it a lot. I think it's actually better, in my opinion, than for me, not for everyone else, but better than the Fleecer. The Fleecer's quality is great. Don't get that twisted. I think they're both equally as good in quality, but I think that the tool set that you get on this one, I just like a little better. And I like the tool set on the Pro obviously really well too. But if you just want something a little bit more affordable and this fills your needs, for me it would, because one of my big things is just the big scissors. And besides that, everything else on the Fleecer to me is fine. I just want the big scissors, and this one doesn't have it, and this one does, which this one does too. But if I can get it in a smaller package, that's great. Now, me personally, I think all of them are great tools. So I'm not going to say one is, or one of them's trash. None of them are trash, but this one's a little bigger. I prefer this one overall just because that easy to pull the tools out, because like I said, I don't have nails, but at the same time, and I have used this one a lot. And if this is the same quality as this one, then this definitely is a very good quality tool. I've used the Fleecer a bit as well. This one obviously is just purchased, so I have not used it, but that whole thing about being able to get the tools out easy is something that I really like. And that's roughly about it. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. I'll add in the comments if you guys, mention anything or have any questions, and I'll be able to answer them in regards to the tool. There's a separate review for all of these, so you could just check back on the channel for those individual reviews. But as always, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.